Namaskaram India. Welcome to Newsifications, the Ed Talks India podcast. Everything about educations. In today's episode, we will be discussing the Union Public Service Commission or UPSC, which is responsible for conducting one of the most competitive and prestigious examinations in India. The UPSC selects candidates for various civil services in the Indian government, including the Indian Administrative Service (IAS), Indian Police Service (IPS), Indian Foreign Service (IFS), and others. This podcast will cover everything you need to know about UPSC, including its history, examination patterns, eligibility criteria, and much more. More or less, we will discuss CSE in this episode. The talking about Union Public Service Commissions. It is a constitutional body established in 1926 under the Government of India Act. Its headquarters is in Dholpur, New Delhi, and has regional office across India. The Commission primary focus is to conduct examination interview for appointments, Indian civil service examination, which is the backbone of country administrations. UPSC comes under Ministry of Personal Public Grievance and Pensions, formed on 1st October 1926 and headquartered at Dholpur House in New Delhi. UPSC is independent constitutional body. It is central recruiting agency in India. Appointment and removal of chairman and other members of the UPSC by the President of India. Coming to history of UPSC, the UPSC origins can be traced back to 1854 when the British government first set UP as Public Service Commission in India. After Indian independence, the UPSC was reconstituted and given a constitutional status under Article 350 of the Indian Constitutions. In 1757, during East India Company, it was originated on that it was started as Convected Civil Services, in short CCS. After 1886, it was called Imperial Civil Services ICS. In 1854, MacLaw Committee recommended that appointments should be merit-based instead of patronage-based. Indian was restricted to give competitive exams. In 1886, an Edson Commission chaired by Sir Charles recommended that Indian also get employed in public services. From 1922, the ICS exams was held in India. The Public Service Commission of India was established on 1st October 1926 under the chairmanship of Sir Ross Baker. After independence, ICS became Indian Administrative Service IAS. Let's talk about some facts about UPSC. So, who is the father of Indian civil service? Can you just comment down? Pause this video and comment who is the father of Indian civil services. Okay, here is the answer. Charles Cornwallis reformed and modernized civil services in India. Coming to next question. Do you know who was the first Indian Administrative Service officer? Coming. Pre-1947 civil services was called Indian Civil Services, and Satyendranath Tagore was the first IAS officer. Now coming to the next quiz and the last one. Who was the first lady IAS officer in independent India? It's Anna Rajam Malhotra. Let's moving on to the topic of examination conducted by UPSC. UPSC conducts various exams for recruitment into the civil services of India. Let's take a look at some of the exams conducted by UPSC. Civil Service Examination, also famously known as CSE, which is the most popular exam among the aspirants and includes various services like IAS, IPS, IFS, and IRS, and many more. Secondly, the Engineering Services Examination or IES, which recruits engineers for various technical posts in the government. Thirdly, the Indian Forest Service Exams or IFOS, which selects officers for Indian Forest Services. Fourthly, the Indian Economic Service and Indian Statistical Service Examination or ISS in short, which recruits officers for economic and statistical services. Fifthly, the Assistant Provident Fund Organization, Assistant Provident Fund Commissioner exams, which selects officers for employees provident fund organizations. Sixthly, the Special Class Railway Apprentices exams or SCRA, which recruits officers for Indian Railway. Seventhly, the Combined Defence Service Examination or CDS, which recruits officers for the Indian Army, Navy, and Air Forces. Eighthly, the Combined Medical Services Examination or CMSE, which recruits medical officers for various government services. Ninthly, the National Defence Academy or NDA exams, which selects candidates for the Indian Army, Navy, and Air Force. 10th, the Combined Geoscientist and Geologist Examination, which selects officers for geological and hydrological services. And finally, the Central Armed Police Forces exams, which recruits officers for the Central Armed Police Forces. Let's talk about eligibility criteria for UPSC. So, to be eligible for civil service examination, a candidate must be an Indian citizen between the age of 21 to 32 years with a minimum educational qualification of bachelor's degree from recognized university. Final year student can also appear for UPSC prelims. The upper age limit is relaxable for candidate belonging to certain category. We will discuss this. Here you can see general upper age limit is 32 and number of attempts is 6 for EWS, 32 number of attempts 6, OBC 35 number of attempts is 9, SC ST unlimited till the age, ex-serviceman 37 number of attempts 9, PWD 42 number of attempts 9, and we will discuss more in the details in our Q&A videos. For CSE, numbers of attempts is limited for general, that is 6, 9 attempts for OBC, unlimited for SC ST. Moving on to UPSC marking scheme. The UPSC follows a complex marking scheme for the civil service examination, which takes into account the candidates performing in the preliminary exams, mains exams, and interview. Each paper is for 200 marks, which means the total UPSC prelims marks are 400 marks. Paper 1 plus 2 marks per questions. Paper 2 plus 2.5 marks per question. For every incorrect answers, a penalty of 1/3 of the total marks will be applied. While the mains examination and interview carry more weightage in the final selection, the main examination interview carry a weightage of 1750 and 275 marks respectively. Here you can see that the total marks add up to 225 marks. You can also see the cutoff of tentative marks for all the categories that student needs to obtain to qualify exams For general, it's 940 to 990 marks. For EWS, 890 to 920 marks. OBC, 900 to 950 marks. SC/ST to 870 to 915 marks. Moving on to list of posts filled through UPSC. The UPSC fills various posts in the Indian civil services, including the Indian Administrative Service, Indian Administrative Service IAS, Indian Police Service IPS, Indian Foreign Service IFS, Indian Forest Service IFOS. For Group A, it's the Indian Foreign Service IFS, Indian Audit and Account Service IAAS, Indian Civil Account Service ICAS, Indian Corporate Law Services ICLS, Indian Defence Account Services IDAS, Indian Defence States Services IDES, Indian Information Service IIES, IIS, Indian Ordnance Factories Service IOFS, and many more you can see on the screen here. So there are 16 posts. And in Group B services, Armed Force, HQS, Civil Services, DANIPS. Hope you know the full form of DANICS, DANIPS, Pondicherry Civil Services, Pondicherry Police Services. So moving on to the next topic, rank-wise service allotment. The UPSC follows a merit-based approach to allot a service to a successful candidate. The rank-wise service allotment is done based on the candidate's rank in the civil services examination. The higher the rank, the better the service allotted to the candidates. Can be seen here. For IAS, last rank was 77. For general category EWS, it's 320. For IFS, it's 188. For IPS, 229. At IRS, 257. For IT, IRS for C&E, 274. For OBC, IES was 380, and respectively you can see all the data from here. Moving to the examinations fees for online and offline coachings for UPSCs. There are several online coaching institutes available for UPSC preparation, but it is important to choose the right one based on the candidate's requirement. We will not discuss any because I believe it's individual aspirants who qualified students just need a right guidance and strategy. In the world of AI and internet, you can get it too. Apart from this, here are some approximately fees for UPSC CSE preparation. You can see the list here and its fees for all GS, CSAT and optional. These are for offline coachings, these are for online coachings. Moving on to the success ratio of UPSC aspirants. In 2022 to 2023, only 51.95% of the 32.39 lakh students who applied for UPSC exams appear for the exams. For civil services exams specifically, only 50.51% of the 11.35 lakhs application actually took the exams. The success ratio of UPSC aspirant is very low, with only about 0.1 to 0.2% of the candidates who appear for the examinations able to crack it. However, with the right approach, plans and guidance, it is possible to clear the exams. In the table, you can see from 2014 to 2022, there are aspirants who applied for CSE, who qualified the mains, prelims and at last qualified interview too. Moving on to patterns of UPSC CSE, the patterns of civil service examination has undergone several changes over the years. The current patterns consist of preliminary examination, a mains examination, and interview. The preliminary or prelims consist of two objective types papers and each carrying 200 marks, where CSAT paper is qualified in nature, and the mains examination consists of 9 papers with 7 carrying 250 marks each, including 2 optional subjects. We will discuss in the details in our Q&A videos in our other section of Newsfiction's YouTube channel. Here, 2 language papers are also qualified in nature, where you just need a 25% of the marks. Coming to the syllabus of UPSC CSE, the syllabus of the civil services examination is vast and covers various subjects including history, geography, Indian polity, economy, environment, ecology, science and technology, and current affairs. The optional subjects paper in the examination can be chosen from the list of the provided by UPSC. You can see in the screen for optional subjects 2. We will discuss this in details in next part. For instance, you can see this. These are the optionals for UPSC CSE exams. The optional subject paper in the main examination carries 500 marks and can be chosen from a list of subjects provided by the UPSC. The choice of optional subjects should be made based on the candidate's interest and background. Coming to civil service training centers, the UPSC conducts a 2 month training program for successful candidates called the foundation course. The foundation course is conducted at the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administrations in Mussoorie, also called as Lavasna, which is situated in Uttarakhand. The training program is designed to equip the candidates with the necessary knowledge and skills to handle the responsibility of their respective services. Later on, according to the services, IFS GATE SBPNPA Hyderabad, which is tied by Osmania University, for IPS officers, Foreign Service Institute in New Delhi, for Indian Forest Services, IGNFA Dehradun, Tied University is degree from the Forest Research Institute, IRS Income Tax National Academy of Direct Taxes Nagpur, and IRS Custom and Central Exercise National Academy of Customs and Exercise and Narcotics at Faridabad near Delhi, tied by University of Nalsar University. Coming to the famous teacher of UPSC, there are several famous teachers for UPSC who have helped thousands of aspirants crack the exams. Some of the popular teachers includes Munal Patel, whose books are very famous, Roman Saini, Manikant Singh, whose history notes are very famous, Pratik Nayak, Jatin Verma, and Vikas Divyakriti, who took a break from teaching UPSC courses for a while, has opened his own channel. You can see in 26 November 2022, he is the founder and managing director of this TIES, clear UPSC CSE in first attempt and given resigned. Later on he attempted but didn't qualify that exams after the first attempt. He fought for Hindi medium students for CSAT patterns. This TIS YouTube channel has over 10 million subscribers on YouTube. Completed an MA, MPhil and PhD in Hindi literature from Delhi University. And if you will search him in Google, it will show you a coach, because his every line whatever he tells trends in YouTube shorts, YouTube videos, and elsewhere. Famous personalities who qualified UPSCs. There are several famous personalities who have cleared the UPSC examination and gone on to serve the nation in various capacities. Some of the notable names includes former President of India Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, former President of India Ramnath Govind, also an IS aspirant. He had moved to Delhi to prepare for civil service exams and successfully cleared it in his third attempt. However, he didn't take the opportunity as he was allotted allied services. Coming to veteran politician and lawyer Kapil Sibal, the politician had cleared the exams accordingly, being allotted Indian Administrative Service. Unfortunately, though he was aiming for Indian Forest Service and so instead went on to pursue law at Harvard Law Schools. Father of Green Revolution in India, MS Swaminathan, cleared UPSC CSE and allotted with IPS, but he chose to take a fellowship with UNESCO. Some notable names includes Kiran Bedi, former IPS officer, S. Jaishankar, Delhi CM Kejriwal, Subhash Chandra Bose. Although Subhash Chandra Bose cleared the civil service examination in 1920 while he was in England, he resigned a year later after 1 year. Reason for failure in UPSC CSE exams. We will discuss this in next. There can be several reasons for failure in the UPSC CSE exams, including lack of proper guidance, poor time management, inadequate preparations, and stress. It is important to identify the reason for failure and work on them to improve one's chances of success in the future attempts. Easy syllabus is a trap for reasons for preparing UPSC CSE. As a faculty and counselor, I almost worked with top 3 tech company in India, so we will discuss this some other time. Recently, parliamentary committees has argued UPSC to shorten the 15 months long civil services examination process, citing its impacts on candidates' health and prime years. Future changes may occur. We will keep you informed. Stay connected with us. There are common mistakes like choosing wrong optionals, lack of conceptual understanding with subjects, ignorance of NCERT books, lack of revisions, lack of proper planning and guidance, no mock and test series, lack of patience, no notes making, no mock and test series again. So these are the reason. In India, it is important for aspiring individuals to be cautious when seeking counseling services, as this field is not yet fully mainstreamed, and as a result, there are many fraudulent individuals posing as professionals. These individuals often exploit the lack of regulation in the counseling industry for their own financial gain. They are provided the pitch who follows these points. You can see they go through the pitch and repeat again and again, which is harmful for students. Some coaching services, including prominent ones such as this you can see on screen, prioritize selling their courses rather than providing quality guidance, and as a result their representative may not possess the necessary expertise to offer effective counseling. It is advisable to be wary of self-proclaimed senior counselor or mentors who lack relevant experience and primarily focus on promoting courses, especially those 12 fails are primarily trained for selling courses, not for counseling. While there are some genuine YouTubers who offer courses, it is essential to verify their qualification too and expertise to ensure that their advice will not harm your career prospects in the long run. So we'll discuss about the strategy to be followed to qualify UPSC CSE exams. To qualify the UPSC CSE exams, it is important to have a structured study plan, regular revisions and practice. Aspirants should focus on understanding the concepts and developing analytical and writing skills. It is also important to stay updated with current affairs and develop a positive attitude towards the exams. Joining a coaching institute or study group can also be helpful in preparing for the exams, but it is not mandatory requirement. You can watch talks like Joe's talks, shows by qualified professionals, read blogs, and follow their steps. However, since everyone is unique and has different talents, they should focus on their capabilities and seek guidance from someone in their circle who is qualified and knows where they can improve. Let's talk about myth of UPSC. It is commonly misconception that life becomes easy after becoming an IAS officer. While it is true that IAS officers enjoys a certain level of prestige and power, their jobs also comes with a great deal of responsibility and accountability. IAS officers are responsible for implementing government policies and programs at the district level, and their work can be challenging and demanding. They often have to work long hours and deal with complex issues that requires quick thinking and decision making. In terms of the service packages, IAS officers are entitled to several benefits such as housing, officials' vehicles, and job security. Among others, however, the job also comes with its own sets of challenges and demands, and it is important for aspiring IAS officers to be aware of this before deciding to pursue this career path. Average salary might be a 1 lakh per month with 30 years of services. IAS officers are eligible for retirement at the age of 60, but they can also option for a voluntary retirement after completing 20 years of services. Some of IAS officers may also choose to resign from the service before reaching the age of retirement. We will talk also about UPSC preparation, studying for 16 to 17 hours a day, which is might aspirants should follow only what the topper says, not true. Interviews are very different and impossible to clear without intensive study. Again, only academic toppers can crack UPSC. IAS aspirants should know everything under the sun. We will discuss all. In, in conclusion, that brings us to the end of this episode for the Newsfications podcast on UPSC. We have hope that this podcast has provided you with a comprehensive understanding of UPSC, its history, examination patterns, eligibility criteria, and many more. We wish you all the best for UPSC CSE exams if you are the aspirants, and hope that you achieve your dreams of serving the nations through the Indian service. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button because I'm about to tell you in just the tip of the iceberg. The CSE notification papers alone has more than 165 pages, so as an aspirant, faculty and counselor I could talk about it all day long. But let's face it, there is a time limit for this podcast, so let's wrap it up for now and come back to it some other time. Until then, keep reacting and keep supporting your favorite education channel Newsfications. Peace out.